Hello there, and welcome back to this Java development course. So, last time we went over assignment operators and you had some homework to do. Your job was to get 5 doubles from the console and then print the average of those doubles. So here's essentially what you should have done. So here I have a scanner SC, which is a new scanner in system.in. I have a double 1, sc.next double, double 2, sc.next double, and so on and so on. So we just get 5 doubles. Then we get the sum of those doubles by just adding them all together. And then we get the average by doing sum divided by 5, which is the number of doubles. And then we just print average is equal to, and then the average. So let's go ahead and run this application. Okay, we can do 1,000, 12. And remember, if we just do it without the decimal point, it'll just cast it to a double. So if we insert 12, it'll just cast it to 12.0. So we can do 125, 45, and this crate, 249. And the average is 286.2. So there we go. So that is essentially how we do that. So if you got this, that's very good. If not, don't worry about it. Try to recreate this code as as always, try to maybe move some things around, and you're good to go. So without further ado, let's get into today's lesson. All right. So today we're going to be working on solving problems with Google. So when you're going to be coding or programming or doing whatever in your application, I guess coding and programming is pretty much the same thing, but you get what I mean. So if you're going to be creating an application, you're going to inevitably find yourself in a position where you have some error or you don't know how to do something, and there's nobody around to help you. So what do? You quit. No, I'm of course kidding. You go to Google and you search it up. So that's what we're going to do today. So we're going to go ahead and create a new class. This is going to be, I don't know, let's just say random value. No, let's call it getting random. Getting random. And let's do public static void main and finish. All right, so there we go. So here we go. So now we have a class getting random, and what we need to do is we need to generate a random value. So how can we do this? Well, I know because I've already looked it up on Google quite a long time ago, but you may not, and you may struggle to do this with a lot of different values. Since there are only so many things that we can cover in a course, the Java language is extremely huge, so it is very difficult to put all of it into one course. It's practically impossible. So for that, we have Google. So we can go ahead and go to Google. So let's go to Google right now. All right, here we are in Google. And just before we start, I know a lot of people will think, well, a good software engineer will never actually use Google for something. I mean, he knows everything. He doesn't. When there are so many things to know that even after you've done something, you may only return to it in a couple years, sometimes in a couple decades. And so in result, you will most likely have to Google something, look it up. Don't worry about it. Every single software engineer does it. I mean, if there is a software engineer that does it, maybe there are maybe 1 or 2 of them. But I say 99.999% of software engineers routinely go to Google to search up, whatever they need to know. So let's go ahead and actually do that now. So we need to find out how to get random. So what we're going to do is we're going to search how to get random in Java. All right, there we go. So now we get quite a bit of different, how could I say this, results. So Stack Overflow is usually what's going to pop up if you're searching a programming question. And Stack Overflow is actually a website. It's sort of like a forum site where people can ask questions regarding software engineering, and then they would get, or not, coding, and then they would get answers from more experienced people. So here's essentially an answer. So I would like to get a random value between 1 and 50 in Java. How may I do that with the help of math.random? So we already know that math.random is one of the ways of getting something. So let's try that right now. So we're going to go ahead and copy in math.random. So we'll just do int a equals math.random. So what will this do? So we get an error. Type mismatch cannot convert from double to int. So what is this saying us? It's telling us that math.random returns a double, and we're trying to put it into an int. So let's do double a equals math.random, and there we go. So now we've got math.random. Let's see exactly what this does. So let's print a at this point. There we go. And let's run this. There we go. So we get 0.14. And now if we run this again, every single time we get a different value. You'll notice at this point, though, that we're getting a value. It's a double value, and we're getting it from 0 to 1. So really we're not really seeing any values from 10 or 20 or anything like that. So we're going to take a look at exactly how we can do that in Java as well. So here he's providing a different way of doing it. So we use a random class and then just do new random, and it's a little bit different. So that's it. That's also a way of doing it. So and here we go. So we have using math.random. We can do random equals math.random times 50 plus 1. Let's see what that does. Math.random times 50 plus 1. What will that do? All right, so that'll give us 48. So now it gives us in between 1 and 50. There we go. Okay. Let's see what else there is. Int random equals int math.random equals. So here we have something else. So here we have this int before math.random. So this is essentially we already gathered more information as to how we could sort of put the random value into an integer instead of a double. So let's print random now. This int value is random. And now we get an integer instead of a double, so without the point something something something. Okay, he also provides a different way. So using the random class, this is what we saw up here. So we just use the random class to get rand.nextInt. Okay, so that makes sense. Okay. So together now, we have used Google to solve a problem which we didn't know how to solve. So we can now get random input, which is quite useful if you really think about it. Now, to go a little bit further into what exactly math.random does, it actually uses the system time, so the computer's time. It has a pretty complicated set of algorithms in there, or some math inside it, to get you a random value based on the system's time. So it really isn't random, but then, what is randomness? It's impossible to dispute. It's been going on for generations as to what is random. So yeah, so that's actually what random does. It bases the system time, does some complex math, and gives you back a number. And so yeah, so here what we do is we do math.random, which returns a double from 0 to 1. We multiply it by 50. So if we get, for example, 0.5, it will multiply it by 50, which will give us 25. And then we just add 1 to it. So this makes it so that if we get 0, for example, as the random value, it'll add 1 to it. So here we're getting from 1 to 50. And then here we're doing that same thing, except we're just converting it to an integer. And that will then just chop off the decimal point. So yeah, so that's really how random works in Java. Okay, so for homework, your job is to write an application that will print a random a random character in Java. So we didn't really go over how to do this, but your job is to practice what we did in this lesson and to find the answer on Google. While doing this, try to understand what you're finding, though, because it's easy to fall into a trap where you search something on Google, just copy it in, and you're done. And then later on, maybe you need to redo it. That answer is gone, for example, and then, you're lost. So if you are going to copy something, go ahead and understand exactly what you're copying, and, don't just copy it and then just forget about it. So just try to understand what you're copying so that later on, you may have a better idea of exactly what's going on. All right, so anyway, I wish you luck with the homework, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye.